Coach, here we are, on the verge of another season. I mean, going to be obviously your fourth here.
That's right.
At White County. Has time flown by at this point? I mean, what have those first 3 years been like for you?
A lot of fun. I mean, the kids up here are great. A lot of fun to coach, and has some really good players, and looking forward to the upcoming season.
Talk about this team coming up. Now that you're embarking on your fourth year, I mean, do you feel like your program is in place and kind of where you want to be as a program?
Well, we're still growing, but certainly feel like we've made a lot of strides, and started a ninth grade program, started a weight program with the ninth graders in the middle school, and so we've been able to start getting some things in place that I think are going to be critical to grow our program and make it bigger and better. We've got a lot of support by our administration, expanded the field house, and put a lot of new weights and new racks in the weight room, in the varsity weight room. So there's been a lot of things that we've been doing to try to just grow our program and kind of keep up with the schools around the area, and feel like we're making great strides right now.
You talk about keeping up with schools around the area. I mean, obviously, you go from a tough region last year to what arguably could be the toughest region in the state, or in 4A.
In 4A could be one of the better regions in the state, no question.
Talk about the challenge.
I've been used to playing in regions. We were in, the Peachtree Ridge region was certainly like that. In Gwinnett County was one of the tougher regions in the state, and obviously when I was at Tucker, we played in some really tough regions. The difference is, up here we probably don't have quite the numbers of players that the schools of that size have, and us being we're certainly in the bottom of 4A. We just made it over the line, so it's one of those things where we certainly have our work cut out for us as far as keeping up with the numbers of players we need to be successful at a high level in 4A. And quite honestly, I mean, mountain schools are, going to have a few less players, and just on the fact that, we have so many kids that are involved in, other things as well, kind of like farming and things of the like. And so you're not going to have quite the numbers out for ball that you would other places.
Talk a little about what you have seen from this team this summer. I know when we talked during the summer or a couple weeks ago, you felt like you'd had really good participation this summer. How is this team kind of developing through the early stages of fall practice?
We've had great participation with the number of guys that we have. They've been here. We took I want to say it was 67 players we took to camp. So we've had good numbers for our program. We've had really good numbers, and the starting of the ninth grade team, I think that's helping us with increasing numbers that we're going to have in the future.
Talk a little about this group that you got. I mean, you got a decent amount of seniors this year.
We do. We have a good senior class. They've been running the offense and the defense for 4 years. This is the first class that's the case with, so we feel like we are ahead of where we were even last year as far as what we can execute. Now, are we as good as last year's team? That's to be determined. But we certainly feel like we're developing our own identity with this group. Our offense is one that kind of morphs a little bit depending on the year based on what we have. We're going to try to accentuate the positive, so to speak, and use those things that we have in a given year. And so our offense will kind of develop around the players, that way.
What do you feel like are going to be some of the strengths for this team this year?
Well, we've got a returning starter at quarterback, AJ Vandiver, and we're excited to have him back, and we've got several running backs back in Maurice Sutton, Sam Turner, Max Taylor, and all those guys have gotten quite a bit of playing time. Maurice Sutton's been starting for 4 years, so I'd say all those other guys I just mentioned have been starting for 3 years. So, there's certainly some weathered players on the team. Guys that have been in a lot of games. Like you said, though, obviously our region gets a little tougher. Every team in the region was in the playoffs last year, so you know, that's a strong statement about the region and the you know, the teams that we're going to be going against. Buford's obviously the elephant in the room. I mean, you know, it is what it is there. You know, but you know, I think Buford's, you know, they're growing and they're going to continue to move on up. You know, I think this will probably be the last 2 years that we'll see them. You know, I understand that they're growing their school a little bit.
What you mentioned some guys on defense. Talk about sorry, you mentioned some guys on offense. Talk about your defense. I mean, who are some of the guys you're looking for?
Some of the same guys. You know, that's the you know that's where we are. You know, we're a team who has to play a lot of guys on both sides of the ball. You know, and you know, that's just, you know, based on the numbers we had. When we went to camp, we took, like I said, 67 kids, but really about 26 or 27 of those guys actually participated in the varsity part of it, and the remainder of those kids were, you know, with the younger group. And so, you know, that's kind of what our varsity is right now, about right at 30 kids that are going to be players for us. And you know, hopefully we can have, you know, develop the depth and have enough depth to be able to survive, you know, if we get an injury or two. You know, we you know, that's tough for us, you know. So that's the big thing, is the depth issue.
I was about to say, is that the biggest question you feel like you're facing?
Yeah, no question. You know, right now that's a thing with, like I say, with starting a 9th grade program and, you know, trying to increase the numbers in our program. You know, we feel like long term, if we can do that, then that's going to make us more competitive especially if we're having to play in 4A. We're, you know, hopefully next time maybe we'll go back down to 3A. You know.
You know, what's kind of the feeling around this team right now? Y'all, you know, excited? Do you feel like y'all can, you know,
I think
make some noise in this region?
Yeah, I think there's a great deal of excitement. I mean, you know, we feel like, you know, we know our offense very well. We know the defense very well. So, you know, big thing for us is going to be executing, you know, both sides of the ball. And, you know, I feel like we're going to be competitive, you know, in the region. And, you know, we play a physical brand of football. You know, I think the majority teams in our region are, you know, more spread teams. We're going to see a lot of spread teams this year. That's one of the reasons why we're, you know, scrimmaging Gainesville, to try to give us a look at that kind of thing and just see, you know, how we match up with that. And, you know, we feel like Gainesville will probably be the fastest team that we match up with all year. So with them being in 5A, you know, so. You know, we feel like that's a good, you know, test for us and you know, help us to try to develop our team better, you know, going forward. You know, obviously we got, you know, Buford's a very physical team, and you know, North Hall has been very physical in the past few years. So, you know, and I'm not familiar as much with those other teams that we're going to play. You know, we did play Chestatee a couple years ago, and they do a very good job running the option. So, you know, I think, you know, any team we play any night's going to be a tough game, but I do think that we'll be competitive.
What you mentioned earlier about, you know, getting interest in the program up and everything. I mean, what's it like now as compared to when you first stepped foot in this building?
Well, I mean, I felt like when we got here, I mean, there was excitement because the team had a good year the year that I got here. We had a player named Ashley Lowry who's currently playing with Kentucky, and you know, they did a good job of getting the program going. You know, we had a little bit of a down year that next year because we're just very, very young. Like I said, several of these guys have been starting for 3 or 4 years, and you know, so we feel like, you know, we've made, you know, big strides in, you know, us making the playoffs that year that Ashley was a senior, and then, you know, the last 2 years we've made the playoffs. So 3 out of the last 4 years we've been in the playoffs. You know, I don't think that's ever been done in the history of school since, you know, '56. So, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, we feel, you know, a lot of pride in, and you know, we're hoping to make the playoffs this year. I mean, that's a big goal for our team, is trying to get in the playoffs. If we could do that, you know, we would be the only team ever to make it 3 years in a row at our school. So that's, you know, that's a big goal for our team, and that's when we're talking about it. The guys are, you know, aware of it, and you know, we're going to do everything in our power to win ball games, and, you know, try to get in the playoffs.
Listen, Coach, I appreciate your time and good luck on accomplishing that goal.
Hey, thanks very much.